After the conspirators murdered Caesar, Julius Caesar, he lay for a while because they were afraid to touch him. Then 3 servants carried him away through the streets in his litter to his residence, to his wife, Calpurnia. "Calpurnia, come here." And she is crying, "Calpurnia, you must receive him." And above, they all cry. She comes out. She receives him in front of the house. And 3 slaves lift him up, 1 at the feet and 2 at his head, another one on his side. This is how they saw him from the rooftop. It looked like a cross, and they lower him into her lap. This is the first scene in what happened after they murdered Caesar. Following the assassination of Caesar, there was immediate panic on the Senate floor. Brutus attempted to address the Senate and give the reasons for the conspiracy, urging his fellow senators to spread this great deed of liberty as one of honor. Those who weren't involved, however, would have none of it. They fled the chambers, likely fearing for their own safety. Soon, panic struck throughout the area, and the conspirators themselves raced off to the Capitoline Hill, where they could safely hole up against the anger of the Roman mob. Cassius Dio paints a different picture, though. In the immediate aftermath of Caesar's death, Brutus came down from the Capitol to address the masses. In so doing, he calmed the population by claiming the deed was only done to preserve liberty and the republican system, by convincing the crowd that there would be no mass proscriptions or additional power grabs by the conspirators. Dio explains that the situation was mostly one of relative calm. The problem for the conspirators turned out not to be the initial shock and anger of the people, but mistakes they made in carrying out their plan. First, they made no real contingent plan to firmly take control. This left an immediate power vacuum, creating uncertainty and fear. Secondly, the biggest mistake was in allowing Marcus Antonius to live. Immediately after Caesar's murder, Antony fled Pompey's theater, discarding his consular robe and trying to maintain anonymity for personal protection. Though Antony's first thought was self-preservation, it turned out that harm to him or anyone other than Caesar was not in the conspirators' plans. With the death of Caesar, Antony now stood as his heir apparent, and he took full advantage of the situation. At first, Antony would appear to be conciliatory and attempt to bring calm to Rome. After the reading of Caesar's will, however, Antony probably knew his only chance to win support from the crowd was to incite them against Caesar's assassins. In the meantime, immediately after the murder, Caesar's mangled body was taken by slaves to his home. Though the conspirators originally planned to confiscate Caesar's property, the plan was aborted due to the immediate panic that ensued on the Senate floor. The following historical events, which commenced well over 2,000 years ago. After Caesar had been killed, Mark Antony controlled the Republic, but he had to do business with the assassins Brutus and Cassius. He made them governors of provinces in the east. However, Caesar's adopted son, Octavian, thought this was too kind, and, exploiting the anger of Caesar's veterans, he launched a war against Antony, who was defeated at Modena, in northern Italy. After his victory, Octavian returned to Rome, demanded the consulship, and surprised the world with the creation of an alliance with Mark Antony. This remarkable happening had been designed by Marcus Aemilius Lepidus, like Antony, a former general in Caesar's army. He became the third member of the Second Triumvirate, which was recognized in November 43 BC by the People's Assembly. The Triumvirate accepted the powers of a dictator and took several measures. The execution of 4,700 opponents, land bills to give farms to Caesar's veterans. The inhabitants of 18 cities were sent away from their homes without any compensation. War against Caesar's murderers, who were defeated at Philippi. And measures against the Senate, including the appointment of all magistrates. Those opposed to the regime found refuge at Sicily, where a son of Pompey the Great, Sextus, organized resistance. In 36, he was defeated in a naval battle by Lepidus and Octavian. And Octavian proceeded to strip Lepidus of his powers. Mark Antony, who was in charge of the East and had fallen in love with Cleopatra, was defeated in 31 in the naval battle of Actium. From now on, Octavian was sole ruler from 27 on. He called himself Augustus, which means the Exalted One.